Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT News. A spicy day for sure in the VCT yesterday with matches all across the world in the EMEA side, but also in the Challengers face-off. Big matchup between M80 and the Guard ended in controversial fashion, and all these guys are going at it on Twitter last night, and who will win this tournament coming up very shortly. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Firstly, hear from Dephh, who has signed a contract somewhere or another. Now, he actually uses a couple of what look like Chinese symbols here. So I don't know what his plan is to do, but we know that Dephh, I think, was linked to a couple of different teams, and Ekel says, welcome to Asia, bro. So yeah, maybe Deph's going to join one of those teams out there. Would be very interesting if that was the case. Of course, the Chinese scene is kind of having not exactly a renaissance, but it's getting ready to go right now, being allowed over there. There were some big matches yesterday between Edward Gaming and I believe Tai Lu played a game. Can dropped like 45 kills or something ridiculous. So lots of games going on over there. Eccles, we know, is playing for an Indian team. So maybe a similar story for Dephh moving to Asia relatively shortly. DSG Clear also says the bigger picture. Don't know what this could refer to, but just there were some questions after Disguise lost their matchup that changes might be due, and people thought, okay, if there is going to be one man that might end up finding his way out of the team, it could be Clear here for DSG. So we'll see what happens. Maybe he's talking about that, maybe he's not, but the team probably has to do something if DSG really have any chance to actually be good enough that they need to be to qualify, first of all, for the playoffs at the end of the Challenger season, and then get top 2 at those playoffs to try and qualify for the kind of America's Ascension is going to be very challenging given how good these teams are. So I do think they're going to need some upgrades going forwards, and maybe Clear out is one way they're trying to achieve that, but far from guaranteed as it stands. Also, I thought this is crazy, right? So this is some matches yesterday in the VCT Japan side. Now, I know we've talked about this before at times, that players shooting bodies is not allowed by the rules. Now, okay, in the America, it's funny in a way to me, because in the America side, like, anything is free game at times, and we've got the players talking all sorts of trash on Twitter and during the game and after the game everywhere. And I know that to a certain extent it's a cultural thing in Japan, but so anyway, this player Million was forced to apologize for shooting the body. So I'll just zoom in here to actually see what happened, but you guys can see at the end of this clip, they take them down, they win the round, and he pops a few extra bodies in, maybe a couple of little teabags on there as well. Just all good gaming fun, right? I don't know, I don't think there's anything more to it than that. However, the referees made it very clear to him that if he does that again, like, I think he received basically a stern warning for this, that if he does that again, it's potentially a round forfeit, a map forfeit. I don't really know what the potential consequences could be, but he came up with an apology which translated to, I won't do any more corpse shooting or body shooting anymore, because it seems that it's against the rules of the VCJ tournament. I'm sorry. So I like his apology as well. He's like, he doesn't apologize for doing it, he just apologizes that it's against the rules. It's like, seems that's against the rules, so I guess, my bad, guys. But yeah, I thought it was a good apology, to be honest, because he's not being too remorseful. He's like, basically implying here that the rules are kind of stupid. That's at least how I read it. You guys might think differently, but in general the rules are just pretty stupid, right? And there was a lot of talk on this that's like pretty insane, that teabagging and this stuff is against the rules. I don't exactly know why. In other esports, this is just like a common thing and part of the culture, but yeah, apparently the VCJ, it is most certainly not allowed. Now, let's talk about some of the other VCT games going on around the world. Doom Bros thought it was kind of funny. So Na'Vi won a series against Giants yesterday. Very competitive series. It was very close indeed. Went to a couple of ridiculous overtimes. Angel had a lot of first deaths, as he likes to do, and Doom Bros actually tweeted at the same time here, GG's 0-2 against Koi, GG's 2-1 against Giants. So they lost to Koi just the other day, and I guess he didn't tweet, so he was waiting for them to beat Giants to bounce back to do exactly that. And this is how things are going in EMEA for now. So at Foot Esports, Fnatic, Koi, Carmine, and Vitality, they're taking the top spots. Na'Vi also played 2 games so far, so they're now 1-1, but still not a particularly impressive 1-1, it must be said. So yeah, Na'Vi still some work to do for sure. Liquid 0-1, BBL, Heretics, and Giants Gaming also, well, Giants now moved to 0-2 after losing to both Fnatic and Na'Vi. So tough matches to play, but nonetheless, I suppose, an expected set of results. And last night, as we say, the other game was Carmine Corp versus BBL, which Carmine Corp took 2-0. So good result for them. Very competitive actually in terms of round counts, but fundamentally very important because, as I've said before, the competition here in this group is pretty insane in terms of, qualifying for the end of the season is not going to be easy, but qualifying for Masters, the top 4 teams here, it's a difficult challenge for sure for even some of the best in the entire region. Let's talk then about all the drama going on in North America, as there always is. So yesterday, M80 versus the Guard, another rematch. It was expected these two teams would rematch in this tournament. It's expected they'll rematch again probably in the finals coming up tonight after the Guard try and make a losers bracket run. But M80 played the Guard. It went all the way to a final map of the series. M80 were down. They brought this back all the way and they won the series in incredibly competitive fashion. I mean, as you would expect, but Haven goes the way of M80 to get the win this time. The Guard beat them before a couple of weeks ago now, and now they've played at the face-off, and M80 have got the better of them at least the first time around. There may well be more to come. But good result for M80. The drama, though, emerged because there were quite a few tech pauses during the series. Players had certain issues. Players were disconnecting. Players had problems. It happens, right? We know the production isn't particularly good. If, sometimes it's absolutely terrible, to be perfectly honest, in these situations. And, this might not have been so much of a production issue, but just general technical issues that players will run into, which cause pauses, and they can ice momentum from certain teams. So 2-1 M80 versus the Guard. Very competitive, as I say. I mean, the overall series 13-6 for the Guard map 1, but then it was 13-7, and then 13-11 in the end on Haven. So that final game was crazy. Kuala Lumpur came different on the map 3, and that's enough to advance M80 to the grand finals of the face-off tournament and secure quite a fair chunk of points already going into the rest of the season. Now, this was the initial tweet that EU did and deleted it very quickly indeed, but we know that the community is very good at nabbing all these tweets. So he says 2-1 versus the Guard, going to the grand finals. We EMP'd the entire team house intentionally for a tech pause at neT VALORANT. So what he's saying is the game clearly concluded, and Valen says GG, Trent says GG, neT says GG, YonaP says GG, but neT also says perfect tech pause in the game logs. So this implies from neT, right, that he believes that the tech pause was kind of intentionally timed by M80 to ice the momentum the Guards had and therefore to gain a competitive advantage. Now, I don't believe that could even possibly be true, really, just because I think that even when the tech pause happened, M80 had won the majority of the last 10 rounds. They were on a bit of a streak themselves. So if anything, it didn't actually make that much sense for, that perspective. And also, would teams actually, maybe there's an incentive for teams to do this, but, to argue that their teams were doing this is definitely very much out there as an accusation. And EU, of course, joking about saying, yeah, we definitely just took ourselves out here intentionally to try and get that good tech pause so we could destroy you guys. The teams have much preferred to maintain their own momentum. So, I mean, yeah, pretty outrageous, point from neT. But in fairness, he just lost the series. You can understand neT would be a little bit riled up and heated in the moment. And Tech says 1-2 versus M80, excited to play them again soon. So basically, all the tweets from all the players was something like this. It's kind of throwing some subtle shots at the other guys, saying, yeah, pretty boring. And basically, Guard wants to get back there into the grand finals, which is tonight. And then Zander from M80 says this: blaming the tech pause for why you lost has to be the saltiest thing I've ever seen. So, quite the statement there from Zander. Good performance from him as well in the series. But yeah, calling out neT pretty hard on this one. neT then apologizes and says, look, small mistakes cost us the series. My comments insinuating M80 misused the tech pause were distasteful and very childish. I apologize to all members of the team. GG's to them. See you guys in the finals. So he's definitely intended to get back there to the finals after winning the series they need to play tonight, as we'll see here in a couple of minutes' time. So neT, I thought, good apology. And fundamentally, right, it's understandable in a way from neT. You just lost the series. You can get that he's going to type something in the heat of the moment that he doesn't necessarily fully believe or agree with, and that now he's apologized and it's all good. But it doesn't mean that M80 aren't riled up about it as a result. Of course, the tweet from Zander here, the saltiest thing I've ever seen, is pretty impressive stuff. And even Chet and Som were joking about, oh yeah, these guys definitely did turn their power off on purpose. These guys aren't very trustworthy. Of course, being sarcastic, just joking around. But still, this is just NA VALORANT in a nutshell, to be honest, right? It's funny how the guys in Japan are getting told off for shooting bodies, and in North American VALORANT, it's all chaos is breaking loose. So EU obviously deleted the tweet and was like, oh, you photoshopped that, guys. It wasn't a real tweet. There are no disrespectful winners or sore losers from this game. So that's just one of the games. And even Valen commented on this as well and said everyone acts tough when they're up. So pretty much says, okay, you guys got us this time, but next time it's not going to be the same case. And even Som's like, I wouldn't take that EU if it was me personally. So some good juicy drama, it's got to be said. And we'll come back to what the bracket looks like in a second. The other two games of yesterday, one of them was TSM versus Oxygen, and TSM took this to game 3, but Oxygen got the job done in 3, so a very impressive result I thought from the Oxygen guys. They've been looking better and better I thought lately, and TSM, yeah, not good enough. They go out of the tournament, Oxygen move on, and that means that they will play G2 today. The other series was G2 versus Moist Moguls. This was a competitive one early on, but in the end G2 just had too much for them, right? A great series from Oxy especially, but also ShahZaM. Some of the mid-round calls he was pulling off here I thought were very impressive. So expected results, G2 advance into the tournament, but also the format is still outrageous, right? G2 have played this tournament so far, Oxygen in their group. They played FaZe, who are in their group. They played Moist Moguls, who are in their group. They won't play a team outside of their group unless they beat Oxygen today. So absolutely insane how this format even works. I don't know who thought of this. Like, it's been done so many years for so many good reasons, but for some reason this time they've just changed their minds. But yeah, G2 take down Moist Moguls. Decent competitive series, but in the end G2 far too good. Sim tried his best, honestly. This guy was outrageous on the final map of the series, but G2 get the better of them and they advance going forward. And as ShahZaM says, 1-2 versus Moist, GG to them. I think we potentially play 2 games tomorrow, and yeah, there's a lot of matches to be had. So this is what the bracket looks like. So the finals go on tomorrow, not today, but 2 games today, one of which G2 versus Oxygen. If they win that one, they play the Guard, and then the winner of that plays the grand finals tomorrow. So very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.